In a new interview, President Trump said that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's days are numbered, as opposed to Trump, whose days are lettered. But the big revelation this week was that EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland explicitly tied President Trump, Mike Pompeo, and Mike Pence to the Ukraine scandal. It's especially tough for Pence, whose greatest fear is being tied to something by another man. Residents of an apartment building in Scotland left a note in the elevator asking a resident who has extremely loud orgasms to be quieter. And it's understandable because this is what a Scottish orgasm sounds like. Two women on the International Space Station made history with the first all-female spacewalk, which was marked by live television coverage and a male astronaut inside the space station yelling, "Kiss!"
Researchers are testing a new method to treat cancer by injecting the cells with the herpes virus. So good news, if you've ever had sex with me, you might have the cure for cancer. A group of researchers are trying to determine why humans have a desire to feed other animals, such as birds and squirrels. But if I had to guess, it's probably because their wife passed away. I don't know why I thought that'd make you laugh.
IHOP has opened a new casual version of their restaurant called Flipped. Because who hasn't walked into a regular IHOP and thought, well, this is just way too formal?
The screenwriter of the new Harriet Tubman biopic said that when he first pitched the movie in the 90s, a studio executive suggested that Julia Roberts play Harriet Tubman. I know, worse, it was going to be called Runaway Bride 2. I'd watch.
Police in North Carolina arrested a man after he was discovered in a Kohl's parking lot smoking marijuana naked in his car. And I'm willing to bet that car was a Lincoln. Recent polls show that Pete Buttigieg has only 4% support among African Americans. But that'll change once Pete announces his running mate, the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Trump also announced plans to sign an executive order that would reclassify Judaism as both a nationality and a race. So now if someone accuses Trump of being racist, he can say, my daughter is in an interracial marriage. He did nothing wrong. And before I go, I just thought of another punchline for that Black Superman story. Black Superman will be referred to as the Man of Steel, spelled S-T-E-A-L.
The government can do this to the President of the United States. They can do it to you as well. You need to be scared. You need to be very scared.
Yeah, somehow I'm not scared. I just don't think that the average American is scared that they're going to lose their job for withholding military aid for Ukraine. This protest was so lame that halfway through the Republicans ordered a pizza. And a reporter took this photo, and my favorite part is this staff member's reaction when she saw the pizzas. It's the kind of expression that says, ooh. A new poll shows that the best-known Supreme Court justice is now Brett Kavanaugh. Sort of in the same way that the best-known sandwich mascot is Jared Fogel.
You better than me, Carla. I didn't watch 1 minute of that trial. It was like a 4-day-long PowerPoint. This is supposed to be Trump's punishment, not mine. This whole impeachment is like a bad episode of Maury. There's all this evidence that Trump clearly cheated, and Republicans are still like, but Maury, he loved me. Trump is so confident he's going to win, he's using Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer to represent him. Talk about credibility. Who's his character witness? R. Kelly?
It was reported that Jeff Bezos has begun building a new $500 million yacht. In response, Elon Musk has begun building a $600 million iceberg. New York City has been the largest Starbucks in the world opened Friday in Chicago. The news was first reported in Hobo Bathroom Quarterly.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has endorsed Bernie Sanders for president. And damn, another young woman turned into an older man promising to pay for college. You hate to see it, Colin. You really
do. Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. And a black Superman actually makes a lot of sense when you remember that Superman was abandoned by his parents as a baby. Well, I knew you'd like that one, so here's another one.
I don't get why Trump's so worked up. I mean, it's still going to take 2/3 of the Senate to vote him out of office. And that's not going to happen because, well, take a look at the Senate. It'd be like if Obama got voted out of office by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Lawyers for R. Kelly, who's being held without bail, are complaining that the singer is only allowed to visit with one of his girlfriends at a time. Worse, visiting hours conflict with the schedule of their middle school. Rudy Giuliani
I'll watch it next time.
Rudy Giuliani has reportedly been telling people that he's launching a podcast, but the people he's been telling just stand there quietly in the department store. A new report also shows that CVS is responsible for half of all unused vaccine shots in the nation. CVS is also responsible for half of the nation's room temperature White Claw. I guess that we shouldn't have expected top-notch inventory management from the store that's still trying to unload Halloween candy in March. Twitter removed an anti-Joe Biden Nickelback meme that was posted by the president.
See, he's strong.
Which is a sentence that if you had said it at any other time in history would have meant that you were in the middle of a stroke. I also want to point out that Nickelback is Canadian, so Trump was still technically using foreigners to go after Joe Biden. And now, Rudy Giuliani has traveled to Ukraine to work on a documentary that he thinks will undermine the Democrats' case for impeachment. Does he know how long it takes to make a documentary? Because they're voting on impeachment in like a week. I think when Giuliani says documentary, he might just mean a TikTok.
A new bill has been proposed in Congress that would require fathers to pay 50% of medical expenses for a woman's pregnancy and delivery. Fine, but then I'm out.
It was announced that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have reached a settlement in their divorce, and I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that she maybe had an easier time finding a good lawyer. Questions are being raised about Vladimir Putin's health after he fell down the stairs at his home and soiled himself. Questions like, is there a video?
A new report shows that female doctors over the course of their careers make $2 million less than men. Oh, that's just not right. I mean, female doctors?
A new study finds that if cats were humans, their behavior would classify them as psychopaths. While if dogs were human, they would get Me Too'd on day one.
A House oversight hearing devolved into chaos after Marjorie Taylor Greene and Democrat Jasmine Crockett traded insults.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing. Hold on. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
Don't tell me to calm down because y'all talk noise and then
You're out of control.
Jerry! Feels like I'm watching the Waffle House of Representatives.
At a gathering of bishops, Pope Francis suggested that the Vatican may consider dropping celibacy requirements for some priests. Then he rushed back to the mic to add, with adult women.
Police in Queens were searching for a suspect who hijacked a bus and then immediately crashed it into a utility pole. Okay, so we know it's a woman. Is that bad?
No, that's great. This week, construction began on a new hip-hop museum in the Bronx. And I know that we've had a lot of fun with me reading racist jokes that Michael writes for me. But because our country is already divided enough, I'd like to use my platform to say something that everyone of all races can agree on. Woody Allen is innocent. He did nothing wrong.
A worker on a cruise ship heading to Alaska was arrested for attacking 3 passengers with scissors. He was eventually subdued by a passenger with rock. I like it.
So dumb. This year marks the first time since 2009 that a Marvel movie has not kicked off the summer movie season, which better be a one-time thing because a lot of people rely on Marvel movies to pay for the ferries they bought. Robert Durst, the New York real estate heir who murdered his friend and dismembered his neighbor, has died in prison. Durst will be remembered as New York's 4th worst real estate heir. Andrew, who faces charges of sexual abuse, has been stripped of his royal duties by Queen Elizabeth. It's an unprecedented case of an adult stripping Prince Andrew.
You had me at royal duties.
You guys are not going to believe this, but Alex Jones and Kanye West got together this week, and it didn't go great. Kanye West made anti-Semitic jokes and said, "I like Hitler," which is also the password he used to get into Mar-a-Lago. At this point, I don't think Kanye is off his meds so much as he's immune to them. We're basically dealing with the Omicron variant of Kanye. You know, like we thought he'd fade away, but now we realize we may have to live with the brain fog of long-haul Kanye. What I don't understand about this Kanye stuff is if Jews do control the media, then how are we still seeing a new interview with Kanye every day? Also, if Jews control the media, explain the 80-foot Christmas tree outside of NBC. The Georgia Senate runoff set records for early voting. Herschel Walker has always encouraged his supporters to take care of voting early before it becomes a problem.
Colin. President Biden's proposed budget included $400 million to counter Chinese disinformation. It will target the #1 source of Chinese disinformation, fortune cookies. Oh, boy. President Biden said that he supports a bill that would allow the government to ban TikTok, but only because Biden thinks TikTok is a gang member from his old neighborhood. Former President Donald Trump also released a statement urging his followers to boycott Coca-Cola, which is surprising because I would have guessed Don Jr. would have the problem with Coke. The CDC is facing criticism for its mixed messaging regarding the coronavirus. And you know what? I have to agree with this because all year the CDC has been texting me saying that I was eligible for the vaccine, but every time I clicked the link, it was just a picture of this guy. President Biden is reportedly determining if he has the legal authority to cancel student debt through an executive order. Come on, man, just do it. I think the country can afford one reckless action after 4 years of President Kool-Aid Man.
Delta Airlines, which is based in Atlanta, publicly criticized Georgia's new restrictive voting laws. And you know you messed up when Delta is like, hey, you got to treat people with respect.
So woke.
Tom Brady revealed that he has regrets about last week's Netflix roast, saying he didn't like the way it affected his kids. But that isn't stopping him from performing in tomorrow night's Netflix roast of Tom Brady's kids.
McDonald's is releasing a new Grandma McFlurry, which they say tastes like Grandma's favorite treats that she hid in her purse. It's a combination of butterscotch, crunchy candy pieces, and a big black vibrator. Okay. No. I won't do it on air then.
Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky made a televised speech during Sunday's Grammy Awards. It was a heartfelt, impassioned plea to help the people of Ukraine, but missed a opportunity for a legendary G.I. Jane joke.
Still upset, huh?
Disney announced that it will soon lift a COVID protocol and once again allow park guests to hug costumed characters. Thank God, said an adult man standing next to Jasmine.
Red Lobster CEO is resigning after just 8 months on the job, saying, "I have truly loved my time here at Red Lobster," which is also what my dates say to me right before getting in their Uber. Oh, this is fun. An alligator in Florida was photographed swimming with a football in its mouth. Turning now to sports news, Tom Brady is missing. President Biden signed a measure that would force railway workers to accept a deal that averts a strike but does not include paid sick leave. Why do you expect Biden to care about sick leave when he shows up to work every day with full-blown CTE?
This Wednesday was Ash Wednesday, the day where white people show their support for 21 Savage.
That's a good joke. Recent report shows that Fox News host Tucker Carlson, seen here bragging about how big it is, has repeatedly pushed the theory that Democrats want to replace white people with minorities. But that doesn't even make sense because white people still exist. It's not like they suddenly turn into minorities, unless it's Halloween. Tucker Carlson's got a lot of nerve pushing these wild conspiracy theories, because if he thinks the government has a secret plot to help minorities, well, he must be smoking that crack the CIA secretly put in black neighborhoods.
This weekend, bitter rivals who have been desperately pandering for votes and trying to force their politics on America will finally face off in person. I'm, of course, talking about tomorrow's Oscars. The Motion Picture Academy has rejected a request from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to make an appearance during the Oscars, but they promised that Volodymyr Zelensky will be how John Travolta pronounces Viola Davis. And NBC said that it would not air the qualifying trials for the Olympic curling team because of an ad on the ice for a Dutch sex toy. Oh, so that's what that thing is.
A man in India has set a new record by staring directly at the sun for an hour without blinking. The record is for best drugs.
This week in court, Stormy Daniels gave a detailed description of sex with Donald Trump, which was so disgusting even the sky turned green. Stormy Daniels, seen here as drawn by the creator of Kathy, was accused by Trump's lawyers of lying about their affair for profit, which would make her the only person to do business with Trump and make money. It's also been implied that Stormy Daniels got into bed with Trump and let him do whatever he wanted just to advance her career. You know, like every Republican.
Barack Obama returned to the White House for the first time in 5 years, and he jokingly referred to Joe Biden as vice president. Hey, Barack, don't confuse him. Business leaders in Miami are hoping to make the city the cryptocurrency capital of the country, because just like crypto, Miami won't be around in about 20 years. A new plant has opened in Iceland, which is designed to remove climate pollution from the atmosphere using the world's largest vacuum. Aw, a new vacuum, just in time for Mother's Day. I don't know why I thought you'd like that. A growing number of women who use weight loss drugs are reporting surprise pregnancies, which are being called Ozempic babies. And I believe Ozempic babies was also the theme of the Met Gala. It was reported that Sylvester Stallone is writing a memoir. The memoir is 300 pages long and has a word count of 1. Hey, you and me, That's good acting, right, Colin? You like that? I've been working on it all.
Really good acting. An elementary school teacher in Wisconsin was arrested after she allegedly made out with one of her 5th grade students just months before her wedding, which is why you should never have your bachelorette party at Chuck E. Cheese.
Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here watching a child get into a stranger's van, denounced corporations opposing Georgia's new voting laws, saying that they should, quote, stay out of politics. Coincidentally, stay out of politics is also Georgia's new rule for black people.
Michael Cohen, whose cologne I can smell through this picture, testified against Donald Trump this week. Cohen was portrayed by Trump's attorneys as someone who hated Donald Trump and was trying to get revenge. But the only evidence of that comes from Cohen's upcoming book, I Hate Donald Trump, but I'm Trying to Get Revenge. Representative Matt Gaetz referenced the Proud Boys by tweeting a picture of himself outside Trump's courtroom with the caption, standing back and standing by. Gaetz used that same caption in a picture of himself outside a quinceañera.
Democratic Representative Jamal Bowman and Republican Thomas Massey got into a screaming match on Capitol Hill after Bowman called the GOP gutless cowards for opposing gun control, which is a cheap shot because if there's one thing Republicans definitely have, it's big old guts.
Trump has also been promoting a song called Justice for All, which features himself and a choir of men jailed for their roles in the January 6th attack. And I feel bad for the January 6th singers because, you know, jail gets a lot worse once the other prisoners find out you're in an acapella group.
Domino's is reducing the number of chicken wings included in their meals, and I really wish I'd known that before I had my delivery guy fired for stealing.
A man in Virginia is being called the greatest Uber driver ever after he and his teenage passenger got stuck in a snowstorm and he got a hotel room so she would be safe. Coincidentally, the worst Uber driver ever also brought his teenage passenger to a hotel room.
A lesbian bar in New York City is now offering on-site COVID tests for customers. They plan to use a much less invasive technique where they sort of just grind around the outside.
Taco Bell, well, this is a terrible transition. Oh, God. Taco Bell has introduced a subscription service that lets users get one taco every day for $10 a month, which kind of sounds like an insult in a rap battle. This bitch so fat, he got a subscription to tacos.
Apple announced that after 20 years, it will stop production of its iPod Touch because Apple products become obsolete once they're older than the kids who make them.
A member of the punk rock group Pussy Riot, which has long protested Vladimir Putin, revealed that she fled the country disguised as a food delivery worker, which explains this notification from DoorDash. The publisher of Roald Dahl's books announced that they're altering some of his insensitive language, like the words fat and ugly, as well as modernizing his portrayal of women, which will mostly affect Dahl's beloved children's classic, The Fat, Ugly Wife Who Knew Her Place.
It was announced that Brittney Griner has signed with the Phoenix Mercury for 1 year. Unfortunately, the WNBA pays less than a Russian prison.
It was reported that Comcast, the owners of NBC, told MSNBC to curb their criticism of Israel. And if they don't, we'll hit them with our space lasers.
Oh, no!
Rabbi? For Weekend Update...